How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have another video here on the channel for Fusion World. And unlike the previous ones I've done, going over the ranking the leaders and going to news at the end of the week, one thing I've decided to do now is just go over my top 5 leader picks for set 1, because when the set does drop, we'll have the 4 starter decks and 8 leaders from the main set, giving us 12 great leaders. And there are 5 ones I like to pick. I like to go with one of each color. Like, I do love Dragon Ball like so much, and I will be playing this game because of the IP alone. And after testing and playing some games, it's actually incredibly fun. And all colors are very fun. Nothing's too strong, like stronger than all the others. Nothing's too dominant. But there are some like preferred picks and stuff, like certain characters and things like that. So what I'm going to do is go over my top 5 leader picks for set 1, and I've got one for each color, and then what I prefer as the strongest start. Well, I prefer my preferred and strongest starter deck from the 4, including the like stuff for set 1. So if you're interested in having a look, basically seeing what I've got, then make sure to go ahead and like the video if you do enjoy the content. Comment down below if there's anything you have, any questions you have, or anything you want me to cover on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe, it keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts to when my videos do drop, so that way you can watch them straight away or watch them at a later date when you're available. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So starting off with red, my favorite pick from the red decks is U7 Goku. Now, if you've been with me from Masters coming into like Fusion World as well, you'll know that I do really love Beerus. Like Beerus decks have been so much fun, and one of my favorite decks in Masters was the red Beerus deck. And lo and behold, in Fusion World we also get a red Beerus deck, and it is pretty nice. It is quite fun, but the only problem I find is that it's not as fun as the one in Masters. And there's a few different things before, and I'm actually preferring the U7 Goku lead because of the many things we have here. So the difference being between the Beerus and the U7 Goku lead is that the Goku lead is just a standard like the like with starter decks on the front side when you attack you draw and you awaken by drawing a card, and then Beerus has the same kind of awaken, but he is the red's critical leader, meaning that he doesn't draw on the front side when he attacks. He has critical, so that means he's going to deny your opponent life when he connects and does damage. And he's also got 5k extra on the unawakened side during your turn. So that means when you swing for 20k crit, but then you're not drawing, so you're not gaining any cards, but you're denying your opponent resources, kind of like making a fair exchange. Now, the only problem with that is you lack the draw power to go through your deck, and red already struggles with draw. And as a result, I feel like the U7 Goku is my preferred pick and the stronger one of the two, because not only does Beerus like not really draw much, but also on the like you got to get to the front side, which you got to use awakening cards, holding off your opponent attacking you. And if you're on a critical leader versus critical leader matchup, it's not going to be the greatest thing because neither of you are going to really be drawing many cards, and you both could be denying your opponent resources, losing cards instead of gaining. So that's why I feel that U7 Goku is better one, but also there's a fair few other things as well. Because one of the nice things about U7 Goku, like we've just covered already, is that it draws cards on both sides. It's great that it draws on the swing on the front side, draws swings on the back side, so you're gaining cards for your deck, which is something you kind of need for red because it has a lack of that in the colour. Also, when you're awakened, it does give a 5k boost to your Universe 7 cards, like straight up boost, just in your turn, or your leaders with all your battle cards with Universe 7 as well traits give 5k power, which means if you played a 20k out, it's now 25. If a 15 count, it's now 20. So like your 15ks that normally wouldn't be able to pressure awakened leaders now do. Your 20k leaders that normally would like make your opponent trade off with a 5k to defend themselves. Now it's 25, meaning you have to use a 10k, so you can't just use a 5k to come off. Like when people put cantrips down and use them to draw for the deck a little bit, use up some energy draw cards, and then come off to defend. That's no longer really an option. And then your big things like your 5-drop Goku, that's 35 because 40k, meaning that no longer can your opponent just use super combo to out combo it base without any combo power. You then have to use super combo plus another card to out it. So you can make your things a lot bigger, but then it's only on offense rather than defense, so everyone has to be a bit fair. And also the good thing about it is that Universe 7 has a lot of good cards. Like with red, it's kind of got three archetypes in it. It's got Universe 7, Universe 6, and some in-betweens like the Angels and stuff like that. But the one edge the Universe 7 has over the U6 stuff is that U7 has a leader in Goku. So he has a leader that kind of like has a good interaction with him, whereas Universe 6 doesn't have that, which is why it's weird that U7 you got U6 stuff about U6 leader and they got Beerus instead. Beerus could have been Champa, but yeah, like the U7 has a lot of good tools, a lot of good ones. You got ones that self-awaken, draw, big bosses like crit pressure, things like that. Very nice cards in it, and even some good promos too. Which gets us to the next point. In that red has a red has great promos in the color. Like it's only the beginning of the game, so only we've got like special event promos and TV promos. So you've got like the special Goku and Vegeta for upcoming events, so like the battle hour one. For that, you've got the green Goku for the pre-release, and you've got the TPs, which once again have two red ones in it. So you have 5 cards in the TPs, 2 of them being red. So already, red has an edge on promos against the other colors because it has 3, where the most any other color has is 2. And it's got a bonus and also they're very strong. You've got the Goku that when it swings, like you KO when your opponent's battle cards with 5k or less, 10k or less power, which in red is great because you're the color that produces power. I mean, you can like reduce cards' power down low enough to just swing and kill it, so you have to worry about it. Giving us our next great point about the deck is that good board control is in the color with great board control because you're the color which minuses power. Like red's identity is destruction and like minusing, so you're reducing the power of cards on your opponent's board in the battle area, making you can reduce them to 0 and then get rid of them by game mechanic, just get them removed, and or just make them smaller so you can actually swing into them, meaning that you can control boards a lot easier than most cards can without using skills, or even with using skills. And also, one of the nice things that I found with this game is that no color is really dominant. Like every color has a weakness to another color. And one nice thing about red is it's a great match against yellow, meaning that like yellow can like draw a lot and then drop a lot of stuff on board, and red has a good way to kind of control that in just managing the board a lot easier than most colors can do. That's why it has a great match against yellow. And that is it for the red. So red, I feel like the better one is Universe 7 because it's a lot more synergy, has a lot more aggression for the color as well. Like red kind of is in all Bandai games, very aggressive, very powerful, and U7-1 is that one for a Fusion World. So that is red. Now we'll have a look and check out blue. So for blue, I've gone for Trunks out of 3 because you got for Trunks you've got Goku Black, you've got Trunks, and you've got Vegeta. Remember, we're saving starter deck 1 for the last one out of the 4 for the 5th pick because there's only 4 colors in the game. I did say top 5. And Trunks is the better one because, once again, just like with red, blue has a leader that has a draw, and leader has a crit leader. You have a crit leader and you have a draw leader. And Trunks is blue's draw leader, while Goku Black is the crit leader. And Trunks is in itself is less gimmicky because we'll go through the reasons why I feel this is my pick for blue. So just like with Goku, and you find we like with mostly every single leader really, is that it draws cards on both sides. So on both sides, on the unawakened and awakened side, it can draw cards. You can swing, draw a card, even if you're awakened or not. It means you're gaining value, and that's always a plus. Gaining more cards, go through your deck to find the things you want in certain matchups is great. And it also has some powerful self-awakening tools, like we've seen recently. For the deck for Trunks, for Trunks or for blue in general, you've got the 1-drop My SR, which allows you to on play draw, take up the 2 cards from your life, so you can awaken very, very quickly. You don't have to worry about your opponent swinging into you or then trying to not attack into you to not let you awaken. And then once you awaken, you get that bonus power, being 20k instead of 15k, and also allowing you have the like really good skill he has, which is bouncing back a battle cards to the board, from the board to the hand. So a really nice way to it's got very nice draw, powerful self-awaken tools, and it's not just Maya's also got everything like Trunks and stuff like that. You've got a fair few cards that on play can take a life, which is very, very nice. And having that Maya is like just a very cheap way to do it, and to take it like, because sometimes your opponents leave it at 6, so that way you can't just use self-awaken on your own, go from 5 to 4, and Maya helps you if your opponent leaves you at 6 to go straight to 4. And it also has very, very good recursion effects. So like most of it's like it is similar. Blue is similar to the same in Masters. Well, not so much on the ramp, but on like the recursion, just like drawing, replacing, like gaining the cards back. Not really like they're not letting his hand size dwindle. And you got very good ones in things like you got cantrips. You got like Pilaf. Pilaf is a busted card, and just basically the recycle itself, getting many targets. You also have things like Pan to help draw, like fix your hand, which is a very good one cost. And you've got other things like you've got Gallic Gun as well to basically just out combo quite a big swing and draw back. And you've even got like the combination with Leader with the Mai, be able to bounce like on your opponent's board and then draw a card from the Mai if you've got 7 or less in cards. And you might think that going to 7 lesser cards is quite bad, you're keeping quite a low hand size, but be able to have a low hand size, but keep it relevant, like keep it full, like even though it's a low hand size of 7 or less, just still replacing them and things like that, so you're not really losing anything, even though you've got your hand size isn't as big as some other decks might get like 10 and stuff. You also have an amazing Waken side as well, because the whole aim of the game in Fusion World is more on board control. And in this game, like Masters, you have to pay the actual cost of the card. You can't cheat things out, but it's not as crazy as Masters. So, and even then, you've got to like play out a card to be able to cheat something, and there's more restrictions on what you can cheat out, which is like very few. I think it's like 3 cards that can do things like that. And having to be able to just basically control your boards without needing to swing into it by just bouncing it back is really good. And also, you've got very good board control as well in extra cards. So going into Amazing Waken side skill, going into board control our next point, and be able to just not worry about your opponent's board and just still be able to control with your extra cards and your leader is very nice. So you can just focus on just swing at your leader, make basically force them to use cards to defend or take their hits is really handy. And one great thing, like we said, where no color really is dominant, is that blue has a very great matchup against red. So where red can be aggressive, like trying to spam a board, blue can clear that up and defend that quite easily out their swings, just because it's got that great recursion, and also be able to control the board very easily by just getting rid of it. Like blue has some of the best extra cards in the game, and be able to use most of them to just like clear your opponent's board without needing to worry about it. This is all and then just keep a good hand size while your opponent's dwindles in red. So that is blue, so hopefully you're excited to play Trunks as well, and then we'll get and see what my pick is for green. So for green, my favorite pick and my top pick for green is androids. So for green, we've got the you got the android leader in the set and the Gohan leader in the set, and green is the ramp color, which is quite nice, and it's the only color in the set that doesn't come with a crit leader, which is a bit interesting. Like it doesn't come with a crit lead, unlike the others, which are odd ones, so both leaders draw. So that brings us to the first point of both either leader like draw cards on both sides, which is amazing to keep your advantage up and keep drawing more. And also, I feel like Androids has the edge kind of when it comes to the green decks, because as well as drawing cards on both sides, it also has great ramp tools to gain energy as well. Because you've got for the Gohan, you've got things like the gigantic meteor, along with big 5-drops like Goku and Turtles to be able to ramp your energy, keep like ramping up every turn, playing things out that actually like establish a board, but also ramping your energy to play bigger things later on. And the quicker you can get to ramping energy, the bigger things you can play and the more threats you have. Because it brings us on to the next one in that there's not much removal in the game. Like there is some removal, like you've got a fair few bits of removal in most colors, but the removal comes with a price and a restriction, really. Like it comes with a price, and like the cost is to use the removal, and also like a restriction on what you can hit. Like in blue, you got Sinister Sickle, which can hit 2 4-drops or less, but then you got to pay 3 energy for that. So 3 energy different remove 2 4-drops or less. But there's not much that could hit things that are 6 or higher, and the only real thing that can get rid of 6 or higher easily is in green, being the 8-drop Brody from the Star deck. That can come down, but once again, you pay an 8 energy to pop anything on the board, which is very good, but very costly at that. But luckily in green, you're the ramp color, so you don't have to worry about the cost. You can ramp up, and the quicker you ramp up to get to it, the easier you can drop it. And it's also a very good removal as well, because it's 8 cost, so it can't be it is not got really any removal outside the Brody itself to kind of remove it. And then it's hard to remove because it's got such big power as well. Because the bigger the more costing the cards are, the kind of bigger the power are. And most of the things in green, like the big things, like 5 cost, 6 cost, 8 cost, and they come with a whopping power. Like you get 5 costs at 30k power, 6 costs at 36k power, no, sorry, 35k power, and then the big Brody having 45. And being able to swing over those, you're putting a lot of resources. They kind of meet up to the power, or kind of get over a little bit over it, and your opponent can just. And the Android player or the green player can just combo out for less cards than you choose to combo to try and kill it and survive it. So boss cards are hard to remove, And one other benefit as well is that androids have a nice little big leader buff on the awaken side. So once they're awakened at 6 or more energy, there's every turn in your turn. When you swing the lead, it's 30k swinging, not just 20k. So that means you're forcing your opponent to put more cards, like cards they wouldn't normally want to put in to swing, say for like your bigger things, and they have to put into your leader swing every turn rather than just combo 5k to defend it like most leaders can do. And that's really nice. It's very easy to get 6 or more energy because you've got good ramping cards. It's very good ramp in the androids because unlike with the other ones which have a one-time use, you go use the card ramp and that's it. It's ramp that one time. Androids have a continuous ramp every turn with their fill card. You'll be able to just like tap an energy and place an android from your drop into your energy, meaning you're not really gaining energy to use that turn, but you're still gaining energy over time and you still keep the same amount of energy you had at the beginning of the turn, which is very handy. The only problem with green though, and androids, is it's slow going in the early turns. So in the early turns you're not doing too much. You're kind of like just surviving, getting like looking for your ramp cards, so that way you can start ramping and defend the kind of last out of the turn. But once you get past a few early turns, get into later turns, you're dropping huge threats which are hard to remove, and also having like tons of energy to make sure you can play multiple big threats in the turn, which is fantastic. And the big thing with this, where like with how the matchups go, every color has a strong matchup and a weak matchup, and green has a great matchup against blue. So if you're worried about blue with the recursion stuff, they don't like blue doesn't do too great against green because you can't really deal too well with the board of a green player because their things are too big for your cards to kind of like control and get rid of, and you don't really put out as much aggression to kind of like kill them quickly in the early turns, so they can like hold off, establish, drop big things, and you have to worry about their board and their life. And if you go for their life, you then end up like maintaining the board, and the board just increases and puts more pressure on because they're huge things. If you go for the board, you then start losing your advantage to kind of like clear their board, but they're just still keeping cards in hand, like drawing the massive cards and replaying big things every turn. So that's one great thing about green. So hopefully this like helps you understand the colours and what to pick if you decide to play. So that is my pick for green. Now we get to the next colour, and the last colour being yellow. Right, so for my pick for yellow is probably not a surprise, consider if you've known me and know like Secret Masters and know like a bit about me from Dragon Ball. My favourite character is Ginyu, and he got a leader in yellow for the first set of Fusion World. So obviously, gonna pick this leader because it's my absolute favourite character. But also, if we look at both the characters as well, the characters you get in set one for yellow are Ginyu and Cooler. And just like with red and blue, you have a draw leader and a crit leader, and Ginyu is the draw leader while Cooler is the crit leader. So it always has the upside from the first one, like we've seen for every single leader so far, is that the benefit first is that draw cards on both sides. So you're gaining cards, drawing more cards, so you can basically have more things to play with, like more things to play with, more options and stuff like that. And the nice thing about Ginyu is he's part of the squad. He's part of the Ginyu Force. So of course, with the Ginyu Force, you're a team. You're like a nice little squad, and there's a fair few of you, at least 5 of you, in fact, Ginyu himself included. So it means you've got a fantastic go wide strategy because all the cards with Ginyu Force, you have different characters, all having that nice synergy with each other. And you've got Jace, you've got Berta, you've got Raccoon, all playing stuff out. Like Raccoon, when it comes down, brings out every teammate. And you've got everyone's like Jace being a cheap one-drop play, and even Ginyu searching to find other parts of his squad as well. And you can go very wide with this strategy, and the benefit of going wide is really good in the leader, because if you look at the leader's effect, he's got a very nice, unique awaken as well. Like that's one thing I do like about, like really like about this leader is how unique his awaken is. Where if you look at every single leader, there's only 2 leaders that have a different kind of awaken, and that is Ginyu and Broly. Broly from the starter deck, who when he awakens, takes a card from his life to his energy instead, and then flips over, so it doesn't draw. He puts a life into his energy. Whereas Ginyu's unique one is that instead of drawing, you untap an energy then flip over. So you get an extra energy to play more things out, which not many leaders can do. That you have Cooler has that benefit, but that's on his awaken side. You got to awaken first to be able to do it every turn, and it costs you a card in hand to do that. But Ginyu doesn't on awaken mean that on your awaken turn, if you want to set up for his very nasty awaken skill, you get that extra energy, which is very good. So going second with this lead gives you like a really nice play on turn 5, or when you take your turn 4. which is quite cool. And it's very nasty Awaken Skill. You might be wondering what that is. Well, it goes in tandem with a fantastic go wide strategy. So Ginyu wants to go wide, play out loads of battle cards, loads of Ginyu Force, and spam the board with them. And that's a really benefit because its Awaken Skill is an activate main where just once per turn you can tap 3 energy and discard 2 cards from your hand as a cost. So tapping 3 energy is quite costly, and discarding 2 cards is also quite costly, but it's got a great payoff after seeing the archetype. And that is choose all your battle cards with Ginyu Force and special traits and restand them. So if you've got a huge board of say like 7 Ginyu Force cards that you could attack with, you could swing with each of them, and they're all like 20k, so you're swinging and pressuring Awakened Leader outside of Broly. And you get to just basically just force your opponents using cards to defend themselves, not want to take all these attacks. Then you can just go pay 3, ditch 2 dead cards in your hand, restand your entire Ginyu Force, and swing again. Like basically just, let's try that again. Restand them, swing again. And not only that, the benefit of going wide is you have extra cards like Bonds of the Ginyu Force, which is a battle trick that gives you 10 for 1 energy, gives you 10k power for that attack on that card, plus an extra 5k for every Ginyu Force you have in your leader and battle area. So the more you have, the bigger it gets. I mean, you can get your opponent to 1 life, and you can push through very big like swings with just that card. I've got them up to, I think I've got them before 255k on my last swing, or even like up to 100. Like you get at least 100 something k with just like 2 of those cards you hand on your last swing. You have to put your opponent to 1, and it's very nasty. And also, Ginyu stuff and yellow in general comes with a very good draw power because you've got every color's got a cantrip. The one nice thing about yellow is one of the Ginyu Force cards is a 1-cost Ginyu that you rest it to draw a card. So every turn, you rest it, draw a card, and you got things like Banana, and you got the Freezer Leader to basically restand it, so that way it's safe from being attacked. So your opponent's got a card to remove it by a skill. It's going to be stay there every turn, resting to draw a card, and if you've got ways to restand it, make good use of it. And along with that, we also have an extra card called Now You See We Are the Power of the Ginyu Force, which is an extra card where if you control 2 Ginyu Force in your battle area, you draw 2, and that's all 1 cost. So for 1 energy, pay an extra card where you got 2 Ginyu Force members on the board in your battle area to draw 2. I mean, you can draw through your deck quicker, to find more Ginyu Force to spam out, and to find your extra cards as well to do things. So it's amazing with that, and also since the 1-cost Ginyu is a Ginyu Force, it also resets your lead, meaning you can kind of mitigate the fact you have to discard 2 cards by ditching the worst 2 cards in your hand that aren't usable. Then restand, use those 2 to then tap and draw the cards, I mean you get those 2 cards back, which is absolutely amazing. And like we've said, like with every single color has a weak matchup and every color has a strong matchup. And yellow has a great matchup against green because you go wide with all these little things, and then pressure with loads of little swings. Meaning that instead of those big cards they've got to kind of defend big swings, they got to use up like super combos for just 20k swings, like that, which is fantastic. So that is my pick for yellow, Ginyu, being my favorite character in Dragon Ball. And now we'll look at what my top pick is for the starter decks out of the 4. So for my 5th leader pick for set 1, and my one from the 4 different starters we've got, my pick for the starter decks with the boost, with like the support boosting it from set 1, is Broly. So one of the nice things about Broly in like with the other all leaders, it draws on the front side. It doesn't have it does draw on both sides, but it's like free draw on the front side, so it's still gaining cards, which is a benefit over some of the crit leads in the set 1. It's yellow, so it has great ramping tools to gain energy. So you've got the gigantic meteor, you've got the Goku, and you've got the Turtles as well to like gain yourself energy, ramp yourself as well. And one of the nicest things it's got is like niche, similar to how like Ginyu's got this niche like untapping energy on Awaken. Broly has a great niche in that it's got a great base power at 25k when awakened, which means unlike the other ones where you can swing a 20k into your opponent's lead, and they're 20k, they have to discard a card to go up, so you can lose no card swinging 20k and 20k, but they've got to like either take the hit or combat a card just to defend that. So you've basically plus by making them lose a card. Broly doesn't really have that. So if you want to swing into Broly, you've always got to trade up, unless well, at least with leader you've got to trade up. And with most cards, unless they're big ones, meaning that your opponent's not just freely going 20k into 20k like most other leaders. They've got a combo, so it means they've got to put a card in to try and push through a damage on you. So then while you, like any other leader where they go 2020, you have to discard a card, well, combo a card just to defend it. Your opponent's got all these combo cards, and you combo card means you're not going, they're not plussing on you by making you lose a card. They've got to lose a card on where you've got to lose a card, so you're going even on that trade. And it just means that things like going wide strategy like Ginyu don't really work too well because of 25 beta when you've got a combo up for each one. Means they have a bit of better of a way to defend, and especially with ramping as well, playing big things with a big lead as well is pretty nice. It also does have a way to, in the color, it does have a way to mitigate the fact that you on Awaken lose a life by placing your life into your energy instead. Like that isn't the greatest thing to have. It does give you more energy, so it's in theme with green, but it doesn't is not great because you're essentially getting critted by your Awaken, which is not the best thing. But you can mitigate that because there is a Gohan 6 drop, which when it's played, play a top card of your deck in your life, meaning you can then gain life and mitigate the fact that you go from 4 to 3 just on Awakening and gain that life back. So if you are being pressured, you can add your life back up to then keep in the game and make it harder for your opponent to try and kill you. And it is slow going in early turns, same with all green decks really, that you're trying to survive and hold off to a later game before you awakens, that way you can get the best benefit. Because the one thing with Broly is that when it awakens, it then doesn't really just draw inherently like everyone's do. You have to then start sacking off your energy, which you're ramping up to get bigger energy to play bigger things, just to draw a card, but also gain 5k. But then nicely, there is in the set 1 the Final Goku, which when it comes down, or when it's played, or when the energy is sent to the drop, you can put the top card of your deck in your energy and rest, meaning that when it comes down it ramps, and then it mitigates your leader's downside and sacking off energy by replacing the energy you sack off, so you can still get the draw, and it doesn't mean you lose your energy, you can keep ramping, keep getting the higher energy to play bigger things, which makes that card have quite a big target against it for removal. And the nice thing Broly has is that it's not like he's got like a little, even though it's green where it would have a good matchup against blue, bad matchup against red, it's actually got a great matchup against most decks because of its base power. So because of its base power being 25, it's not as easy to just like push through. You have to commit cards to kind of commit cards down that are big to get rid of it, which then green can remove with its big things that do good things. And also it's harder for your opponent to aggro you early, aggro once you awaken because you're quite a big leader. So it has a great use against most decks because of base power, and having great aspects in ramping in its color being green and playing at bigger things. I mean, you can actually come down and clobber it, like survive the early game, have an easier time doing that well, and then clap back with your big stuff. So that's my takes. I really would love to hear what people feel their top 5 picks are for the set, because there are some interesting opinions and interesting leaders as well. Like the Goku Black seems quite interesting, but we still need to see the SR for its deck to see how viable and how worth it is. So far, it's not as worth it as the other 2 blue leaders. But if the SR for Goku Black is great, it can give us like a new reason to actually play that lead. So that is it for me. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video. Bye for now.